True or false, a pig's orgasm can last 30 minutes.
This is a little too fucking far.
Man, I got a lot of reflective surfaces in my house.
And I don't fucking care that much anymore.
Tune in next week to see which color toothbrush you buy.
I don't know your mom fucking mom. Hey everybody, I'm Jonathan Doe. I'm a podcaster, YouTuber, and filmmaker.
And my name is Steven. I'm a filmmaker, special effects guy, and a stuntman.
I like collecting oddities, exploring true crime cases, and directing extreme cinema.
If you like blood, gore, creatures, and more, then we've got what you're looking for. You're watching Scream Time. Jonathan Doe.
Mr. Grischuk, how's it going?
It's going good. Are you excited about episode number 9?
I know. I can't believe we're this deep in it already.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're going to do something a little different. I know that we were kind of diving deeper and deeper down into the extreme underground. We're going to take a dip back up really quick for a multitude of reasons, but one, it's hard to make a show called Scream Time and not talk about the film Scream. So Scream is significant because it is considered the revival of the slasher genre. And the slasher genre has its roots in exploitation cinema, video nasties, true crime, you name it. And I would say that the Scream franchise really kind of encompasses all of that, which is kind of why I want to talk about it and talk about some of the influences that it's had when it comes to the mainstream, but also within extreme underground cinema as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to pick your brain about this movie a little bit, because of all the films that we've talked about, I don't think we've talked about Scream very much.
Yeah, I don't think as friends we've talked about Scream very much.
No, so. Actually, we've talked more probably about things like Last House on the Left, if we're going to be talking about Wes Craven.
Yeah.
So I kind of half expected that for Scream Time, but I do love the movie Scream too. So, and I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts on it are.
Yeah. So, golden age of the slasher genre was from 1978 to 1984, and you've got films like Black Christmas. You've got
Black Christmas, Bob Clark.
Yep.
Such a good movie. I'm glad you brought that up. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. When a Stranger Calls. You've got films like Friday the 13th, Halloween. So a lot of films that are milestones when it comes to the horror genre come out of the slasher genre. But then in the 1980s, early 1980s, the genre went from kind of like more traditional filmmaking into like SOV, which I know you fucking love SOV horror.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I think in that process, the genre kind of like lost sight when it comes to mainstream audiences, because we know that SOV is a divisive format. There's a lot of people don't like the schlock and cheese levels that exist when it comes to SOV, right? And so the genre kind of like it kind of lost its momentum, I would say. But then in 1996, Wes Craven comes out with Scream, which is a very meta film, and it's very like aware of a lot of the tropes that you would notice within watching like teen slasher films, right? And the kind of like murder mystery esqueness that exists within slasher films, like who is this killer kind of thing.
Right. Like if the game Clue became a slasher film, it would be Scream.
Yeah, and we all have our favorites in there. You've got The Burning, you've got Sleepaway Camp.
Another great movie, yeah.
Yeah. Scream kind of took all those tropes, all of those stereotypes, did like a tongue-in-cheek self-awareness of it, but kept it brutal. And I think even stepped it up. And that's one of the things I really love about Scream is, Scream is mainstream, but in real life when people get stabbed to death, it's not like you get stabbed and you fall over and keel over. being stabbed to death is a long, horrific process, and
you die from like blood pressure loss, basically.
Yeah.
It sounds awful.
And Scream shows that.
Mm-hmm.
I had kind of forgotten about Scream, and then I went to the movies and saw Scream 5 and watched just how brutal it was. I was like, this is one of the most brutal things I've seen in a movie theater in a long time. Like, this is pretty fucking hardcore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was impressed with it. And it's cool that it can kind of have its tongue firmly stuck into its cheek,
Mm-hmm.
while also showing the brutality and violence that exists within true crime. The narrative of Scream influenced by the Gainesville Ripper, Danny Rawling, who murdered 8 college students, and that's kind of where the idea of Ghostface came from. But Scream also inspired people down the road in the future who would end up killing their classmates because of the franchise. And so
which is actually kind of morbidly funny if you look at the line, you know, movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Exactly. Yep, that's where the Casey Stockard murder of 2006 came from, which we'll talk about a little bit more too. But
interesting. I wasn't really aware of any of the true crime stuff that was related to this film.
What is your introduction into Scream?
Well, when I watched Scream, I was having movie night with friends and we watched it, and I remember going, "Oh, that was cool." And then it wasn't until years later, upon rewatching Scream, when it all kind of clicked and made sense, because I had not realized at the time that it was referencing all these other horror films or tropes in horror films. Mm-hmm. And after that, and I realized this very meta nature of the film is kind of poking some fun at the genre. And Wes Craven really reinvented horror, I should say, several times. Mm-hmm. Craven brought us this. He brought us The Hills Have Eyes. He brought us The Last House on the Left. All movies within those respective subgenres, whether it be the slasher or the rape revenge or the, you know, crazy cannibal family. He breathed new life into all of these films. Mm-hmm. So huge respect to Wes Craven.
You've got Freddy Krueger from Wes Craven too, and he's very versatile, I would say, because you can go with Last House on the Left, just the gritty, fucking dark nature of that.
It feels like a snuff film.
It's a bad time. I was thinking about this.
Okay.
He always has like kind of a goofiness within mm-hmm. the brutality of his films. Like the cops in Last House on the Left are fucking goofy as fuck.
So, John, what was your first time experiencing anything Scream related?
In 1996, I was definitely into horror, but I was at the time young, so I'm like watching Goosebumps and stuff like that. But definitely like recall like seeing trailers and stuff for it, and my parents thought it was appalling, which had me very interested. And it just kind of fell into the list of movies that I was like intrigued by. Like when Scream came out, I remember seeing a trailer for the next year, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I remember me and my friends would sit and talk about like who's cooler, like the guy with the hook in I Know What You Did Last Summer or Ghostface. And I was team I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I didn't see either one. I just was basing it off the trailers I had seen, you know?
Awesome.
And once I got older and wanted to see movies, Scream was pretty low on my list of like stuff I wanted to see. I was really interested in seeing like the classics and stuff. And I think this is like a problem that horror fans do, is like we love the classics and we hate anything new.
It's very much a problem, yeah.
Yeah.
People are so rigid.
People will be like, this is fucking dog shit, this is stupid. And then 10 years go by and all of a sudden everyone's like, that's a classic.
Let them cook.
Yeah.
Let them cook.
And I think it wasn't until like Scream 3, I think I saw Scream 3 first. And I liked it, and it made me want to go back and check out the other ones. I looked at it as kind of like the revival of the slasher genre. 80s movies are very 80s, mm-hmm. and growing up in the 90s, like when you're in it, you don't think about it, but now looking back, like, oh, this is 1996 as fuck. The one thing I'll say about Scream is it's very mainstream, but it's brutal enough to like kind of like tickle that feeling of uncomfortability, mm-hmm. of brutality. And,
especially for a kid.
Yeah. where you're like watching a murder happen on camera and you're like, oh, this is a little too fucking far.
Well, when I watched it, I didn't understand all of the meta nature, all the dark black humor and everything. All that went over my head. I did go, whoa, that guy's messed up.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much my whole takeaway. It wasn't until years later, upon realizing all of that meta stuff was included, that I could have a whole different appreciation for it.
You can be introduced to it at a younger age, and it can kind of dip your toes in the water and go, oh, do you like this unpleasant? Did you like watching that murder happen? Do you want to see something worse? You know?
Right.
Or are you like, that was a little too hot, you know? As a kid, and then you get older and you kind of get more versed in genre films, and you can go back and you can really appreciate Scream and be like, oh, this was like a little fucking, this was kind of a love letter. You know?
I had an appreciation or an affinity for Ghostface before I even know who he was. I saw a Ghostface mask when I was a kid at like a Spirit Halloween, and it was one of the ones with the tubes that went down into the little heart in your hand. So I was like squeezing this heart in my hand, and like blood is running down your face. And I won a very much not rigged Halloween costume contest when I was a little kid. And so from wearing the mask, becoming the character, winning the contest, shortly after that I had to see the movie. Just a little kid, I had no idea who he was. But after having that experience, I'm like, I gotta see where this is going.
I think Ghostface definitely deserves his place in like the top tier villains that are popular. You know, you've got Chucky, you've got Leatherface, you've got Freddy Krueger, you've got Ghostface, and I think he definitely deserves the spot in there.
Wes Craven again had created at least two of these icons in Ghostface and Freddy Krueger. Those are going to be recognized for eons from now, and a bit of a stretch, but maybe Krug even from Last House on the Left.
Yeah, I think
not as much.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I want him to be anyway, but
no,
David Hess just was amazing. So
yeah, David Hess rules.
He does.
But I got to meet him one time.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, they had a reunion for Last House on the Left at FangoCon, which is like, FangoCon supposedly still exists, but I haven't seen it since like 2009. This might be a controversial thing, but I think that the Scream franchise is one of the strongest when it comes to horror franchises.
Wow.
Like, I get fucking lost when it comes to like Nightmare on Elm Street. It gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
Same with
Halloween.
It kind of goes all over the fucking place. But I feel like I could sit down and watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and be like, each entry is pretty solid. Whereas other ones, I'm like, there's some fucking dog shit entries in a lot of these franchises that exist.
I'm really bad, generally speaking, about following timelines all the way through. If it starts to get too much like a series, I'm just kind of like, we can get on with it now. Like, I'm really happy with a film. I'm really happy with 2 films. When you start giving me 3, 4, 5, and 6, I'm like, I don't know, I get kind of lost.
Yeah, it does kind of kill it because you're kind of like, okay, like how... This is gonna sound really funny, but I had an ex at the time, and she loved Grey's Anatomy, and so she had me sit down and watch Grey's Anatomy, and I got fucking sucked. It wasn't like I wanted to watch it, but I would sit there because she'd be watching it all the time, so I'd follow the show.
Yep.
Right.
Same boat, actually. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Weird.
This compares to a lot of things, right? So in Grey's Anatomy, fucking, it's these doctors and stuff, right? They're all fucking sleeping with each other. There's all this whatever, right? But there's always, like, at the end of every season, there's, like, a big thing that happens. And so they had a doctor that got, like, impaled in the head with, like, a pole, which would have been horrific and traumatic.
Yeah.
And then in another season, there's a spree shooter who goes into the hospital. There's another one where they survive a plane crash. And I just think about it, like, if that was my coworkers and any one of those traumatic things happened, I'd be like, I fucking quit. But if I survive a spree shooting and a plane crash and all this stuff, I'd be like, you guys are a fucking jinx. I'm staying fucking far away from you guys. How many horrific things can happen in one person's lifetime?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how I kind of feel when it comes to franchises, when it goes too fucking far.
True.
Like, you just be like, okay, dude, like, how come no one's caught this guy yet?
Right. I mean, at some point, you gotta... I mean, it gets... I get too much in my head about it. I step back and go, okay, well, they're really squeezing every last little dollar they can get out of me here.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a shame, but I'll probably be the sucker to pick up the movie or go watch it in the theaters anyway.
But the cool thing about Scream, which reflects real life, is that in the universe of Scream, it's people being inspired by Ghostface and picking up the torch and carrying off with that name, which runs parallel with real life. So in 2006, there were these 2 high school students in Idaho, and they had a crush on this girl named Casey Stoddard. Basically, they put on masks kind of like similar to Ghostface masks. They weren't exactly the same, but they were similar. Went over to her house, and they asked for a tour. She was house sitting. They hung out and watched Kill Bill with her, and they asked for a tour of the house. And basically, she walked around and showed him everything. And while they were going around, they went back and like unlocked doors. And then they said that they were going to go to the movies. Turned the circuit breaker off, and were trying to like scare her like a horror movie style. And eventually they went up there and they stabbed her to death and killed her. And they were very much inspired by Scream, specifically Scream. When this is probably the most infamous case when it comes to Scream. But that's not the only case where people have attacked other people or killed other people with Scream being a direct inspiration.
This is all new to me. These are not things that I'm familiar with at all. Funny how the whole premise of the movie like came full circle and affected people in real life that way.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem making fun of them. They suck as people. So it just shows how stupid kids are. Their alibi was that they went to the movies to go see, I don't remember what movie it was. I think it was Mirrors or something. They didn't actually go fucking to the movie. The cops who are interrogating them, they went and saw the movie. And they went, all right, well, you guys went and saw this movie. Tell me about the movie. And that was enough for their story to crumble.
They missed out, too. I liked Mirrors. I thought it was good.
I think that was it. I don't know.
After I walked out of Mirrors, I got home and I was like, man, I got a lot of reflective surfaces in my house. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Wes Craven. I'm going to sound like a broken record constantly bringing him up, but he played such a pivotal role in creating all these iconic characters and storylines. His previous icon, Freddy Krueger, was also inspired by a true life scenario. A boy, I believe it was in Africa or something, maybe you know the story, who supposedly died in his sleep and nobody could figure out why, and he was hiding sleeping pills that he was supposed to be taking and all these kind of things.
Personally, I'm not scared of ghosts at all. I'm totally okay with ghosts. So ghost movies, like possession movies, do nothing for me. But home invasion is something I really, really am actually scared of.
Right.
And so for me, a tangible, actual, real flesh and blood intruder trying to hurt me is much scarier than like a cup falling over in my house. Right?
Well, that's what always struck me as being funny about when you talk to people about possession films and stuff like that. And I go, oh, what'd you think about The Exorcist, for example? And they would go, oh, I could never watch The Exorcist. And I go, well, why? So many people will tell you, well, I believe in that. I believe that's real. And it's like, well, you don't believe in serial killers? Why are they not scary? Like, they're actual, tangible, objectively true things. Home invasions do happen.
Yeah.
You know, murderers do happen.
Probably a lot more inclined or more likely to get stabbed to death in your sleep than being possessed by Satan.
Yep.
You know.
Most likely. Most likely.
So my point is that that's why this genre works for me personally.
How many films span the Scream franchise?
There's 6 films.
There's a TV show.
Yeah, so you're bad at following like a franchise. I fucking don't give a fuck about TV shows.
Well, that's my problem. That's my problem with franchises. Yeah. Is because they go, tune in next week for the next episode, and I'm like, I got more things to do than to tune in next week.
I can't do fucking TV shows because it's like, I feel like it's dragged out for way too long. Like, it's like, this could have been a really clean, palatable 90 minutes, but instead it's 10 hours. And I don't fucking care that much anymore.
I have that same approach with my films. I know you've talked about that with yours. I have films that are 45 minutes long, for example.
Yeah. And
it's like, well, could I pad that out to an hour? Actually, yeah. The rough cuts were almost an hour for some of those. And I went, I really don't need all of this footage. I can tell the story more concise and more to the point. And TV shows are very much like that.
Yeah. I mean,
It's tune in next week to see which color toothbrush you buy. Like, I'd rather not.
Yeah. They made like an Exorcist TV show.
They did?
Yeah. And I had another ex that wanted to watch that. She was like, oh, you'll like it. No, I did not. It's too fucking much.
The only series that I'm going to stick around to watch is Scream Time.
Hell yeah.
Boom!
It's because our episodes are fucking good 30 minutes, baby.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay away from series, but watch Scream Time, because it's the best series.
Yeah, this is literally the best thing that you could watch in your entire fucking life. I'm actually serious.
I love this more than your mom.
I don't know your mom. Fuck your mom. But, yeah, dude, if you're gonna sit down and watch something, you should watch this.
I agree. That's good advice.
2 random fucking assholes talking about movies.
One asshole, one handsome devil.
Whatever.
Any games or anything about the Scream franchise? Video games?
I would be super stoked on a Scream game where you could just be a home invader and it's like, here's the neighborhood, go kill people.
You get to pick your house, you can do whatever.
Don't get caught, you know?
It could be fun.
Yeah.
You can go to the costume store, get different masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a good game. Somebody out there, hit us up. We're full of ideas.
Have you played the game Postal, too?
It's really violent.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've seen playthroughs and stuff. It looks awesome.
I love games like that.
Yeah.
I don't want any strategy. I just want bloodshed.
John is here for the violence.
I'll answer this question right now. People email me all the time, be like, what kind of games do you like to play? Tony Hawk Pro Skater and fucking Grand Theft Auto. And if it's outside, if it's challenging at all, I don't want to play. I want to go to point A to point B and fucking kill everything.
You're like, everything went to shit, let's kill everything.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's the same way. Get from point A to point B and do stuff.
It's just skate, grind cop cars, like, pause bam. Dude, I played a lot of Zoo Tycoon. Well, you know what was fun about that was you could, like, grab people and throw them into the dinosaur pit.
This episode is derailing. What are we even talking about?
You guys came for Scream, stayed for Zoo Tycoon. Well, John, I know we were having fun talking about Zoo Tycoon, but it appears the thunder and lightning has hit the set, so you know what that means.
Time for us to stop talking about video games.
That's right. It's time for Mr. Mac's 30-second film review. Hello, everyone. 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 Well, thank you for your weird review, Mr. Mac. Appreciate you over here on the show. Oh, goodness. Oh, God, the hand has been hitting the hard stuff.
Message in a bottle.
Wow, how cool is that?
That is cool.
Must have came from a faraway place. Well, John, let's see where our mail came from today, shall we?
A message in a bottle.
Message in a bottle. That's cool. I like this one. Open it up and... Boom. Uh-oh. It's going to be tricky to get out of there. See if you guys can see that. Wow, it's really in there. There we go. Here you go, John. Have a swig of the good stuff there. You know, it might look pretty good on your oddities shelf behind you, actually. Incorporate it into the set. Will it fit somewhere? Well, maybe. Well, let's see where our mail came from today. Our mail today comes from your girlfriend, who's to remain anonymous. For reasons. Okay, so... John's girl asks, the killers in Screen Time. Here I am at Save the Show. The killers in Scream taunt their victims with trivia questions. What would your life-sparing questions be?
That was terrible.
That was a bad throw.
Yeah.
I'm a soccer player. I never got into baseball.
You can go first.
This is a tough one. It's a good question, actually. Life-sparing questions. Do we go the comedic route, or are we going, like, real questions? Are we going trivia questions? Are they about a certain topic? Is it one question? Go the Monty Python route and go, what is your name? What is your favorite color? What is the airspeed velocity of a European swallow? I don't know. So what do? You question to spare someone's life. You're like, so, come here often?
I think I would turn it into a game. I think I would. My initial reaction was, well, I want them to fail because I want to kill them.
Right.
But then the second part of me is like, well, like, actually put it in fate's hands.
Mm.
So then I'd be like, I want you to call your mom, and if she answers, you'll live. If she doesn't answer, you're going to die.
That's
Which is dark as fuck.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Can you imagine calling your mom and she doesn't answer? That'd be actually kind of... You'd be like, maybe you should kill me.
If the mom does answer, then you have, like, the dramatics of both of them pleading for this person to survive. And if their mom's dead, then you can just...
You're like, oh, hi, I'm here with Robert. How are you? He's at the end of my knife right now, but so he's a little tied up at the moment. Here I am sounding like Ghostface now.
Yeah.
A little tied up at the moment. Oh, man. If I could only ask them one question, do you go the Saw route and go, do you want to play a game? And in that case, if they say yes, that's your one question, and you let them go? Like, I don't know. So it would have to be some kind of... Maybe you hit them with like a true or false. True or false questions are kind of fun. True or false, a pig's orgasm can last 30 minutes.
True.
It's true.
Yeah.
I love that you knew that.
Yeah. I am filled with very useless random facts. But if my life was on the line, I'm fucking good. Is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable?
Oh, that's a weird one. That's messed up. That's messed. Dude, if my life is on the line and I have to decide if a tomato is a fruit or vegetable, just take my life. It's over. It's over.
Your answer is fuck you, dude.
I just want to turn it into something funny.
Does a straw have one hole or two holes?
Whoa. I am sitting across from somebody who's so many eons beyond my mental capacity right now. I can't even comprehend the question. What kind of perverted, sick question is that? What? I've never heard this.
I just blow your mind.
I was like, obviously, and I was like, well, it's obvious it's... And then I came up empty-handed.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow.
Is a platypus a fish?
No. This is a platypus. So, John, final remarks on Scream as we wrap up episode 9 here.
Scream's pretty cool. I think it's a good entry point for people who are wanting to, I don't know, get a taste of things that are a little more spicy when it comes to genre films. Can you sit and watch someone get stabbed to death? You know, are you well versed enough in this kind of cinema to get all the jokes and things like that? I think it's like a little good taste. Do you want to dive a little bit deeper? It's a good entry point into the genre of slasher films, and I think we would be missing the ball if we didn't cover Scream with a show called Scream Time. So
true. I mean, since the name of the show is in the title of the film, I mean, we got to cover it. And like I said a million times over now, Wes Craven is the man. If this is the film that gets you into Wes Craven's catalog, you really can do a lot worse in your life. So, by all means, dive into Scream, give it a chance. And same with the rest of Wes Craven's catalog.
Rest in peace, Wes Craven.
I know.
Rest in peace, Casey Stoddart. Rest in peace, the 8 victims of the Gainesville Ripper. And
rest in peace, episode 9. We're done.
That was dark. But fuck it, let's do it.
It was alright.
Okay. Rest in peace, episode 9.